All right, welcome into the channel, everybody. Jared Bailey with you as always. Black and Gold Breakdown, talking everything Steelers. Thank you so much for tuning in. And we had breaking news this morning out of Pittsburgh where Brian Burr, I'm not going to pretend that I'm super familiar with him, works for Big Ten Network, is from the Pittsburgh area. But he tweeted out that the Steelers were inquiring about Jaguars quarterback Trevor Lawrence. And as soon as I saw that, I had a few thoughts. The first being, well, they're not going to get Trevor Lawrence. the Jaguars paid him a ton of money last offseason. They're committed to building around him and making this thing work. You know, that's why you hire a head coach like Liam Cohen, who's done a lot of really good stuff, especially this past year with Baker Mayfield helping him throw north of 40 touchdowns and getting Tampa Bay to the playoffs for the second straight year. So Jacksonville isn't going to trade Trevor Lawrence. Obviously, as a Steelers fan, I would love the Steelers to have Trevor Lawrence. Which brings me into my second point. I knew as soon as we saw this report, there would be so many Steelers fans who make no sense. Be like, why would you want Trevor Lawrence? He stinks. And it's just like, this is why I have trouble talking about football with Steelers fans in particular, who just, it's mind-numbing. Because I fear that Lawrence is going to get like Matthew Stafford did, where he's good. He just plays for a bad organization. They can't put anything around him. And then if and when he ever goes somewhere else, he's going to succeed immediately. And everybody's going to be like, oh, wow, that Trevor Lawrence is pretty good. Like, yeah, he always has been. Just been stuck in Jacksonville. Now, like I said, Jacksonville seems to be taking the right steps to get back to where they were a couple years ago, which was in the playoffs, winning a playoff game. And they seem committed to Trevor Lawrence. They wouldn't have paid him all that money. I think he makes, what, 58 a year? Somewhere in there. Between 55 and 60 a year is what he makes. They wouldn't have given him that if they didn't fully intend on him being the guy. So the Jaguars aren't trading Trevor Lawrence. That was the first thought that I had seeing it. The second thought I had was that I'm glad that the Steelers are at least asking. For a couple reasons. One, it shows that, you know, they want to find the guy and that they care about this and they're not just trying to mail it in. As much crap as I give the Steelers, and look, I'm going to give them more crap at some point. Because, you know, when you go 8 years without a playoff win and you make positively no changes to your coaching staff except for letting the good ones go, I'm going to crap on Mike Tomlin for that. And they should have moved on from him this offseason. I remain steadfast in that. But I will credit Omar Khan, who Omar Khan is the only guy in the organization that I trust. I know that he's going to go out and try to make some good moves. And obviously Tomlin has a lot of say in those moves. But Omar Khan is maybe the only guy between Art Rooney, Mike Tomlin, and everybody in the front office, Andy Weidel as well. But the front office guys and the GM office are the ones that I trust. I don't trust Mike Tomlin. I think that he's long past his prime of being a good coach in the NFL that can win anything of any importance. But I do trust Omar Khan. And them reaching out to Jacksonville about Trevor Lawrence says that they're willing to pay big money for a quarterback, which is, you know, good. And it also makes me believe that all this potential smoke with Matthew Stafford has some credence. Because Matthew Stafford's wife in particular has like laid out several hints that they could be playing somewhere else in 2025, whether it's on our podcast, on our Instagram. Stafford himself seemed unsure about his future, talking after the game, after the loss to Philadelphia. So there seems to be a lot of uncertainty between the Staffords right now and what's going to happen. And the fact that they're moving on from Cooper Kupp, they might just be trying to hit, you know, a quasi reset button in Los Angeles. So the fact that the Steelers reached out to somebody like Trevor Lawrence, whose cap hit is set to be higher than what Matthew Stafford's would be this year if they acquired him, every stone with the intention of getting a quarterback that can take them back to the postseason and win a playoff game. And maybe, just maybe get to the conference championship and contend for a Super Bowl. I don't see that happening in the foreseeable future or in the immediate future, but turning over every stone shows that they have the intention of finding somebody, even if it means paying them a lot of money, which is good, especially because they have the money to do it. I did a mock off season of the Steelers behind the steel curtain. I'll leave the link for that in the description below, where I went through players that should be cut, free agents that should be signed, players that should be traded, players that should be traded for, and then a mock draft to round it all up. And then at the end, I give you like a rough look at what the depth chart would look like. So I'll leave the link for that in the description below if you want to go read that. But the fact that they're reaching out about Trevor Lawrence makes me feel confident that, okay, they're willing to spend the money and make a big move. Because, by the way, it also says they're willing to trade premium draft capital to get the guy. Because you're not getting Trevor Lawrence for less than a first-round pick. It's probably going to cost you a 1 and a 2 this year, and maybe a 2 next year. And that probably won't even be it. It might cost you, some day 3 stuff, maybe a play. Like, when you try to get a quarterback like Trevor Lawrence, who's still in his 20s, top 12 to 14 quarterback in the NFL, when you're trying to get a guy like that at his age, like, it's not going to be a cheap get, both on financially and when it comes to compensation to give to Jacksonville. But the fact that they're willing to do that, I think that should make a lot of Steelers fans feel a little bit at ease with this quarterback search. And it puts a little bit of doubt in my mind that Justin Fields will be back, if I'm being perfectly honest. I think that Justin Fields is their ultimate fallback option. I don't think Russell Wilson's coming back. I think that bridge has been burned. I talked about that in a recent video. You can go watch that after this. But reading all, connecting leaves here with the Russell Wilson stuff, he's not coming back. I think that Justin Fields is their fallback option where, all right, if we can't get any else, we know that we can bring back Justin Fields. But they're going to keep turning over every stone. I would bet we're going to get a report in the next week or so saying, hey, the Steelers have real interest in Matthew Stafford. And then once we get to the combine, and then once the new league year starts shortly after that, we're going to see where that thing goes. But the combine's just in a couple weeks. I will be there. And I'll be giving, on-site reports at Behind the Steel Curtain and at the Sporting News. So go and read that. I'll do a video. I'll do multiple videos on the YouTube channel as well. So be sure to subscribe to the channel for on-site videos from the NFL Combine coming here in a couple weeks. But the interest is there from the Steelers, and I think that they know they need to do something where, it's been 8 years without a playoff win. And they went with their version of going all in on a quarterback position last year by signing Russ, trading for Justin Fields, and they ended up with the exact same record that they had in 2023 and the exact same result they had in 2023 with a far worse quarterback room. And again, to me, a lot of this falls back on Mike Tomlin. They should have moved on from Mike Tomlin. But I'm not going to sit up here and keep banging the table for something that is not going to happen and is in the past. Got to focus on what we have at our disposal in terms of when it comes to analyzing what's in front of us. So, reaching out about Trevor Lawrence, It's much more about the details with it that come with it are much more important than the actual request itself. I think Omar Khan knew going in, probably not going to get Trevor Lawrence. But if there's a chance that the Steelers could, you might as well ask. And to the fans, it sends the message of, okay, they are willing to send premium draft capital and spend premium money on a quarterback to help the Steelers win. So all of this is a good thing. Even if they knew going in, hey, we're not going to get Trevor Lawrence, but let's at least try, that's a good thing for both the Steelers and Steelers fans. So appreciate you guys for tuning in. Like I said, I will be on site at the NFL Combine here in a couple of weeks, and I'll be doing videos on that. So be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel to get all that stuff in terms of prospect interviews, press conferences from Brandon Beane of the Buffalo Bills. I'm assuming it's going to be Omar Khan for the Steelers in terms of their representatives. So I'll be at that as well as plenty of others for head coaches and general managers and prospects. So everything going on at the NFL Combine, subscribe to the channel to be tuned in to everything going on and get a little bit of insight of what's happening inside the NFL. So subscribe to the channel, do all that fun YouTube stuff. And like I said, I'm going to leave a link to the Steelers mock offseason I did for Behind the Steel Curtain. So you can go and read that as well, what I would do if I was Omar Khan and running the show in Pittsburgh. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. See you in the next one. Have a good day.